Alright, Citizen Kane, often touted as the greatest film of all time. But let's be real here. It's also a mystery, a puzzle, and a story that might make you ask, why the heck did we spend 2 hours just figuring out what a snow globe means? Trust me, by the end of this, you'll be questioning everything from the meaning of life to why we all care about a rich guy's last word. Let's break this down. The story centers on Charles Foster Kane, a media mogul whose life is as complicated as a Rubik's Cube, and let me tell you, it takes the entire movie to figure him out. Kane starts off as a poor boy in Colorado, but by the time the credits roll, he's a mega-rich tycoon, known for owning half the world's newspapers. He's essentially the original tech billionaire before it was cool. He's got everything: wealth, power, influence, and a confusing obsession with one simple word, Rosebud. Now, the movie starts with a dying Kane uttering Rosebud. No one knows what the hell that means. You'd think the last words of a man who's controlled the media would be something profound, right? Maybe I've learned the meaning of life, or I regret nothing. Nope. Just Rosebud. And you'd think, okay, that's it. That's the end of the movie, right? Wrong. That's when the real story begins. A reporter named Jerry Thompson is sent on a mission to find out what the heck Rosebud means. And here's where the movie gets genius. Instead of following a typical biopic style, the film shows us flashbacks of Kane's life, each one through the eyes of people who knew him at different stages of his existence. We get this series of interviews where everyone gives their own take on who Kane really was, and you start realizing that Kane is one of those people you can never truly understand. You think you know him, but then he surprises you again and again. Kane's rise to power is pretty straightforward. He inherits a newspaper empire, and let me tell you, he does whatever it takes to build it. He's ruthless. At one point, he's buying politicians and starting wars just to sell newspapers. Imagine Donald Trump running a newspaper empire, but instead of tweets, he's using entire wars to boost his circulation numbers. That's the level of whatever it takes Kane is working with. But here's the thing, he's not happy. The man is constantly chasing something. And no matter how much power he gets, it's never enough. He marries, he divorces, he does the whole "I'm an all-powerful man" thing. But the more he accumulates, the emptier he feels. You're sitting there thinking, this guy has everything. Why is he so miserable? And that's where the beauty of Kane's character lies. He's lost. He doesn't know what he's really searching for, but he's always on the hunt for something he can never have. Now, let's talk about Kane's relationships because they are a disaster, to put it mildly. He marries Emily Norton, the niece of the governor, but their marriage is a joke. Kane's so obsessed with work and power that he ends up neglecting his wife, pushing her away, and she eventually leaves him. Classic power-hungry man behavior, right? He then marries Susan Alexander, an opera singer who can't sing for shit. Seriously, it's hilarious. He spends millions trying to turn her into a star, and she's like, I'm not even good at this. But Kane? He doesn't care. He's fixated on making her famous, and he pours his money into her career, and it's an absolute train wreck, but it's all just part of his need for control. And here's where things get twisted. Even though Kane's this powerful guy, he's never truly loved. He's always chasing that one thing, whatever Rosebud represents, something from his past that he can never reclaim. And we get the sense that no matter how many businesses he owns or how many people he's controlled, there's a deep emptiness that he's trying to fill. Finally, the reveal of Rosebud. This is where you're going to be hit with the emotional gut punch. After all the interviews and flashbacks, we finally learn what Rosebud is. I'm not going to spoil the entire thing, but let's just say it's a symbol of the one thing Kane lost in his life. The one thing he couldn't buy, control, or manipulate. It's this one piece of innocence from his childhood that represents the last shred of his humanity. It's a moment of realization that no matter how powerful you get, there's always something more valuable that you can never buy back. The ending, it's heartbreaking. Kane dies surrounded by piles of riches, but in the end, it's clear, none of it mattered. All of his wealth, all of his power, all of his control. He spent his life chasing after something, but in the end, the only thing that could have saved him was something money couldn't buy. And that, my friend, is the genius of Citizen Kane. It's a film that tackles the emptiness of wealth, power, and fame, while also leaving us with a question. What's the cost of chasing everything but the thing that truly matters? Oh, and about that snow globe? Well, you'll just have to watch it to understand. Let's just say, after all the drama, it's the symbol that ties everything together. And no, it's not just a random object that gets tossed around. It's the key to unlocking the tragedy of Kane's life. So, if you haven't seen Citizen Kane yet, go watch it. It's one of those films that's impossible to fully appreciate until you've seen it for yourself. Just don't expect the answers to come easily. This movie makes you work for it, but trust me, it's worth it.